Hey, everybody. Dan here on Drum Talk TV and Drum Talk TV Brilliance, our membership site. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, check out the little ticker down there at the bottom. We've got a crazy special going because we want to, and because we had crazy floods here, and we want to help donate some buckaroos to the Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund for Globe, Arizona. So Crazy Dan's lost his mind deal. That's what my wife calls it. $3 a month or $30 for a year and get access to fan Q&As, live stream concerts, the inside track on our game shows, and tons of other fun stuff for drummers and music fans. I'm thrilled to have, for the maybe 23rd time, Brian Tichy, who's been with us since the very beginning, since I started Drum Talk TV in January of 2013. How are you?
I'm better than most, not as good as some. That's a good thing. How are you?
That is a good thing. I'm very well. Thank you very much. We appreciate you taking time. You're a very busy guy. You always have been the whole 13 years I've known you. So we do appreciate you taking time to do this. Let's start with, and folks, we'll be live on YouTube and Facebook for about the next 15, 20 minutes. And then we go membership site only. We'll take questions. I'll put you on the screen if you want, or you can type your question during the membership site portion. So go ahead and join. But Brian, what do you got going on? I remember us talking about your solo album that I believe is nearly finished, maybe not time-wise as much as quantity-wise of what's going on it, because it happens when the time's right? But can you talk about that?
Yeah. Earlier this year, I decided to stop procrastinating and go for it. I have my house is a studio as well. Like the living room, dining room is not a living room, dining room. It's a drum room. It's got a kit on either side of the room. One is a pure replica kit, and it's all mic'd up. I put these two kits. It used to be one kit, now it's two. Last beginning of the year, I set it up so I got both kits mic'd up. So I got the big pure prog type kit on one side. The other side is more the rock bottom setup, which I use for most sessions and recording and all that stuff. And finally around February, I just started, I was like, okay, let's just start with a drum track for one song. What do I got? And, started moving. And I was really hoping, I was like, I could do this by the summer. And, either you get busy, or when you're not busy, that doesn't automatically mean you can press that creative button and inspiration button and it all just works out. You just wrote some cool shit and recording it. So, but yes, I'm, and I do it all here. Everything's here. The Pro Tools are upstairs in the loft, and I'm on the 9th of 10 songs. I said I'm going to do 10 songs, LP, put it out, and it's been interesting to even just look back at this year, because I'm playing drums, bass, guitar, and singing, which is more like just trying to yell in pitch. Which I came up with a term the other day. It's singing in pitch, yelling. Oh, I had to put two words together. But basically, yeah, I'm not a great singer. I just try to yell and hit the note. But the more I've done it, the more you see it coming together. It's a little bit satisfying, because you said you're gonna, and I had said this to myself for many years, because I hadn't done anything original in a long time. But 9 out of 10 songs right now, and I figure finish it in December. I think I have, I have what I want to be the first song, put a video to it, and get some distribution and get some promo and go for it, and and just fulfill that creative side of ourselves that, without that, I always feel a little incomplete if I'm just, a hired gun or whatever, I which is cool for all things that can be cool about it. But there's this other side of me that's like, I see a bunch of my friends, they might be doing this or that and this or that band, but they also have their solo stuff. And it's not about taking over the world. And as kids, we dreamed about having our own band and selling millions and headlining Madison Square Garden. Still a nice lofty goal to look at, but with the reality of, hey, as long as I get it out and prove to myself that I can do this, and sound how I sound and do what I do, and get that ball rolling, So I hope of course you want people to like it. It's not that I don't care. I do care, and it's just big, heavy riff rock for the most part.
Cool.
I love guitar riffs. I love big drums, and there's minimal click tracks, and there's no auto tune, and there's no samples. I love engineering drums. I love big drum sounds. I always go back to Physical Graffiti. Okay,
Yeah.
that's my benchmark.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times that's what I'm trying to go for. And then some of the songs are like, well, it doesn't need to really be that. It can be a little more modern. But I like organic sounds that you created, that you got from tuning and hitting and miking and mixing and guitars and it's all. I like that. I just go back to our favorite bands from the 70s and the amazing sounds and production and music that was put out all in this one decade that I don't think has been topped since. And I'm going off here, but like,
That's
dude,
okay.
when we were kids in the 70s, you could literally listen to FM radio and hear Carry On Wayward Son into Roundabout, into Hotel California, into Aqualung, into
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody, into Freebird Live. It's like crazy, that amount of stuff is being produced by all these.
Oh my gosh.
Into Steely Dan or Fleetwood Mac or Boston, and you're like, this is all happening now, and
everything was good. Everything was good.
Everything was exceptionally good, and everybody sounded like themselves. The Who and the Queen into Aerosmith. You're like, so that's what I just kind of want it to be along those lines. Not that the music is anything close to that by any stretch, but more that it's just the sound that it's whatever my sound is. I didn't go to some mixer and say, make it sound like whatever current stuff is going on, because outside of Meshuggah, I don't know anything going on.
That's great, because not everybody that plays, and not everybody that plays well, whatever instrument, it doesn't mean they're creative. We've both known people who learned music a certain way, but they've never learned to improvise on their instrument. They need to learn something from written music, and that's okay. There's plenty of work for that, but it doesn't mean that they're creative. And you are, and I can relate to that. And that's why that outlet to be able to do it is so important. And it's like farting. You can't always do it on demand. Just because, like you said, you have the time doesn't mean okay, now I'm going to let it flow. I'm going to open the valve.
It's funny you bring up farting, because usually when I listen to what I've been working on, it sounds like a lot of farts.
Do you have a name for the album yet, Brian?
Yeah, I've thought about it for a long time, went through a bunch of ideas, and I have a whole list of names, and then I was like, it just hit me. Tichy. There you go. How about that?
Wait, how's it spelled though?
I'm still working on that.
No, that's great. I'm really excited for you and would love to see that, because I've obviously never heard you sing. I've seen or heard you play drums. I've seen or heard you play guitar. Obviously, you're playing bass as well. Are you the only one on it?
Yeah. I had been like, I could try and get some guest appearances, guest this and that to build it up. And I'm like, but that's not what it's about. It's just about, I want to do it all from top to bottom, get my buddy to, we'll co-mix together. And the only other musician on it is my buddy, keyboard virtuoso Derek Sherinian. We've been friends for a really long time. We've written for his instrumental prog records in the past, and one of the songs is an old thing that I had showed him and he liked, and he had put a bunch of great strings on it. So after talking to him, because he's actually been one of the most of all my friends or whatever, that he's probably the number one person that's pushed me to do this. Like, dude, what are you doing? Are you kidding me? You're not going to do this, and he's pushed me. And so yeah, he's on there's at least 2 songs where he's added his brilliance. Did I say brilliantness? I was going to say
brilliantness. I like that.
Yeah, maybe that can be a new word, but
he's 38 points in Scrabble. Wait, 38 points for that one.
So yeah, he's on it, and with some strings and some synth patch stuff to make some things heavier and some things more beautiful, and
nice.
and throw your ear off from my questionable
yelling.
My yelling.
So folks, If you're just joining us, Dan here with Brian Tichy. We're going to go about another 5, maybe a little longer than that minutes. So Brian can talk about what he's got going on and all that. And then we're going to cut the live feed and go just streaming on the membership site live. And if you want to join, ask questions, just follow the breadcrumbs. It's in the post, it's in the ticker, and you can ask one question at a time. We'll rotate people. Brian, what else do you have going on that you'd love to just let everybody know about?
Well, as far as drum stuff or gigs or whatever,
Yeah,
there's like 5 different things going on because there's not one band that's like full time. Which
right.
uh, I guess if I was in something full time and I opted to make that my world, that as far as a drummer, that would be cool. It would hopefully be something I was really into. But it's not going that way. So I love being home and tying in my free time to working on music. And I always do sessions here
Right.
for all kinds of different people, whether it's like known or unknown or whatever. But I guess gig wise, I've been playing with Gene Simmons since last year, beginning of 2024. And we have like one more show in a couple weeks coming up. And then there's a little chunk for next year already. And I'm hoping that builds because I love playing with Gene. I'm a Kiss freak as a kid. That was my first band. Peter Criss was my first drum hero. Ace, rest in peace, was my first guitar hero. They were I learned rock drums to Kiss records. So to play with Gene and play those songs that were literally the first ones I learned is an honor, and it's a nice full circle thing. You go through life, and some of those things still come to fruition is very satisfying because you can't buy something like that. You can't get that feeling unless you are actually living it.
Right.
And he's a great guy. And that was another really nice thing was he's an icon, and he's super famous, well known, and all that stuff for 50 years. But there's a certain perception about him. But when you get away from all that and you're doing music and you're in a band, he's a great guy, and nothing but respect and
That's awesome.
just this honest love of playing rock and roll, and so he makes it easy and fun. It's just so
That's
the more we work, the cooler. That's great. Fill it up, Gene.
those
Whatever
are
you want.
those are totally some of my favorite feel good stories is when you meet your heroes, whether it's a musician or an actor or whatever, and you find out that they're just real people. They're humble. They say it like it is, and there's no pretense or any of that. And it sounds like Gene's that kind of guy. As much
Yeah.
as success as he's had, the business genius in him, and all that he's been through, it's just so great to hear stories like that because not
No, no,
everyone's like that.
no. He's cool. He's cooler than you would think, like because of what how he's perceived. But when you know him, and I won't sit here and say I know him, but to be on this other side of things with him
Yeah,
is really cool. So Gene, I'd like to say Gene's the main gig because whatever he gives us, whatever he puts together, I'm there. I love
yeah,
it. But it's not full time. So in addition to that, I do a bunch of stuff, bunch of gigs since getting back with him in 22 with Don Felder. So that's always a
yeah,
lot of fun. Totally different style of drumming, and which I enjoy a lot because it's all about feel, and it's not about aggression. It's not about power. It's all about pocket and fitting
yeah.
in with that style. So it's always a blast playing with him, and closing a show with the guy who wrote Hotel California is always like you kind of just go, without Don Felder, there's no Hotel California, and this is
Yeah,
like one of the most important, biggest songs in rock. So, anyways,
yeah,
Gene and Don, and then I've a new band with Dean DeLeo, who's the guitar player from Stone Temple Pilots. He has a new record slash band called One More Satellite, and it came together over the past like year or year and a half or so. We did a bunch of drum tracks for what he was gonna do as a solo, an instrumental record. And then he had our buddy Pete Shoulder, who's an amazing singer, sing on like 1 or 2 tracks. And he's like, wait, do another. And before you knew it, it was those two co-writing. And I'm on like 6 of the 10, couple non-drum tracks. I think Eric Kretz from STP's on one, and Dean's son Rocco's on a couple. So we're doing shows. We have in a couple weeks with Julia Lage, I think is how you pronounce her name. She plays bass. She's an awesome bass player. She plays in Vixen. She's married to Richie Kotzen, and she's great. So it's us four. We got some rehearsals in a couple weeks and a few shows, and I think we're going to continue it into next year because Dean wants it to be a bigger thing. So yeah, there's that's going on. And
what area are those shows, Brian?
It's like November, like 17, 19, 21, I believe. One's in West Hollywood, one's in the Desert Rock area. What's it called? Pioneer Town. It's called Pappy and Harriet's. It's a famous, I guess, club out in the middle of nowhere out there, Joshua Tree area. I didn't know anything about it. And then a third one, I think, in Santa Ana, Orange County-ish. So it's all that 1 week, and yeah, it's gonna be really cool. And thought there was something else I was doing. I know there is. There's Gene Felder, Dean, and oh goodness, duh! Come on, I'm doing it this weekend. It's Lynch Mob playing with George Lynch.
I was waiting.
I got to leave tomorrow back to the airport. Yeah, which is always a lot of fun.
And who else is in the band right now?
George's bass player Jaron Galino has been with him for a handful of years, and he's been with him. He's killer. He kind of runs the show and takes care of all the business. George and Andrew Freeman singing, who's been in Last in Line and like Great White and some stuff. He's been, but I've known Andrew for a long time and hang with those guys. It's a lot of fun because reckless abandon to the music, learn your parts, get it tight, but we're ready to just kind of take some chances and stuff. And we laugh a lot on the road together. So that makes it fun. So yeah, just bouncing in between all that kind of stuff. Oh, wait, going into January, going to Japan with Michael Schenker. That's right. Cool. Which is cool because I did his record that's out now. He's supporting on tour called My Years with UFO, Years in UFO. And I did most of that record. And we're going and doing 3 shows in Japan in January. And the coolest thing for me is, playing with Schenker's awesome, but we're playing the Budokan, and I've never played Budokan before. So that's in itself is pretty awesome. To check that out and do that. Yeah.
Set up a drum cam and put out a DVD, Tichy Live at Budokan. There we go.
Just to have the phrase "live at Budokan."
Right, exactly.
All right, Dan, I might have to steal your idea there.
Yeah, that's for you. Absolutely. Nice and busy. Love it. What we're going to do, folks, is we're going to go into the membership site where you can get put on screen, ask a question at a time. I got a few more questions. It's lots of fun. And if you're shy and you don't want to go on screen, you can put it in the chat and I'll relay it. And so we're going to do that. So thanks, everybody. We'd love for you to join. And let's switch on over. Hopefully I won't disconnect the internet